Good morning, and I think we might be set fair for another hot day here at the Edinburgh Fringe, though it's a bit hazy here as I walk into Edinburgh. And we're halfway through the Edinburgh Fringe this year, and that halfway point I think is a place of reflection, of looking ahead, of learning, and sometimes admitting what we don't want to admit. If your Fringe is going well, then congratulations. And there are always people at the Fringe who get halfway and think it couldn't have gone better, and they're meeting all of their aims, and those aims might be in bare numbers, simple numbers of how many tickets that you've sold, how many reviews you've had, that they are good reviews, that everybody is happy who's there with you and that's working with you, and that's really great. There'll be a higher number of people probably who are somewhere in the middle of disaster and success, and they've had some reviews, you've sold some tickets but you'd like to sell more, that you're happy with your production but you're still improving it, and so on. A lot of people may well be missing home if they've been here all month. Others have arrived and they're looking to build on success might be the word, and get those first reviews in. Maybe you've already just had one and it's a good one, and then there's going to be a number, it's going okay, it's not going as well as you thought, you've had one review, it's sitting there at a 3-star and you'd like to turn that around a bit. And then the extreme, there's disaster, and I'm meeting a few, I always do, who despite maybe even having a great show, or maybe some who are realising from reviews that maybe the show they thought was brilliant, that got some good local reviews, has simply hit the depths in terms of reviewer feedback, or you've had no reviews and you've played to literally 2 or 3, and in some cases had to not do your show because you've had no audiences. It could be that your cast is in meltdown, you're not happy with your show, and personally for you it's not satisfying you. And the word disaster, some use failure, is that halfway through the Fringe everything's gone wrong. And in some ways this is always an advert for a workshop, in this case at this Fringe we're running tomorrow, which is to turn around disaster. And that is really possible, and there are different ways to do it, and sometimes it involves actually measuring different things and realise you've been assessing or measuring your Fringe on narrow measures like ticket sales, when there are many other things to think about, and to enjoy the fact that you're at the Edinburgh Fringe. And yeah, you're the privileged to be here when you look at what's going on in the world. And so here we go, there's my morning walk with dear Arthur. Can't see any signs of the fire that's raging, the gorse fires somewhere else. So the workshop is called Turning Around Disaster, and it is everything from how to start getting some ticket sales, about how to still make the effort and to succeed in getting those first reviewers in. And if you're in a place of realising that your work isn't as good as you thought it was, and you're not satisfied with it, how to use the Fringe very positively to improve that work, and then the final few days much more satisfied with what you're doing. But it's also everything about starting to turn around what's not working for you on social media, your communications to the world, not just here in Edinburgh but to outside, to start generating and boosting your ticket sales particularly, and having people that want to come and see your work. And to starting to think, well, maybe this Fringe isn't as bad as I thought, and maybe actually things are on the up and up, and that you can end the Fringe with a real sense of potential for your work. But it can also be that you make that clear decision to change your show very significantly before the end, or in some cases to say, I need to wind this down and end in a place where I do celebrate the effort that I took, but this just isn't the show that's working. And I find that's quite rare up at the Edinburgh Fringe. And the real sad thought for me is the people who very most need to be at the workshop that we run are the people still in denial. And you might be surrounded by a bit of collusion where everyone cares about you, or they think they do so much, They're not telling you what you need to hear, or that you're in denial and you're not going to come to the workshop because you're in a state of, well, disaster, but you're not naming it. And sometimes that's okay, because going to that place of rock bottom can be a thing that you can't cope with. But my experience of running the workshop with my colleagues on turning around disaster is there are always things you can do if you're open, and they can always have an impact on your experience of the world's largest, and you might say as a theatre maker, most expensive arts festival. It certainly is costing a lot. So this is an invitation to come to our workshop. It's very supportive, very informal, and very hands-on and practical. And it's not a victim support group, because you're not a victim here. But what it is it's a theatre and showmakers support group. We've got a bit of community that always goes on there, and the minimum is you might just feel you're not alone, and that you can share a bit of those cares with people, and that just creates a synergy. And we've seen shows improve simply because everyone's helping each other. But it can be the opposite of all of that, and just be about really, really simple things that you need to do. So it's not the kind of thing that you need support, it's just you need to make some smarter decisions around your publicity, around your social media, around your flyering, and so on. And it can be that before the end you get just the one review that you need to take away, and that review can often be positive enough to get some pull quotes to get on those flyers. So come along, but also if you're not coming along, just have a think about how you're defining success at the Fringe, and to be really honest and think about what the things you really need to do right now are that you've been putting off or avoiding to get back on the up and up. And I'm about to go on the up and up, walking up towards Edinburgh here. It's a bit of a climb for me because I'm still waking up, but I'll manage it, and you can manage it too.